You bought a $75,000 Ford expecting power, reliability, and support. When it broke, you didn't expect silence. Not silence from the engine, silence from the dealership. Weeks just to get an appointment. No clear timeline, no answers. Your truck sits untouched while payments continue. And slowly, an uncomfortable truth sets in. The problem isn't your vehicle. Across the U.S., thousands of Ford service bays sit empty every morning because there are no technicians left to staff them. Repairs aren't delayed due to parts or demand. They're delayed because the people who know how to fix these vehicles are gone. This isn't rumor or exaggeration. It was confirmed by Ford's own CEO. Today, we're exposing how one of America's biggest automakers reached this point, why experienced mechanics are walking away, and how a $75,000 truck became something far more dangerous than unreliable, unserviceable. Chapter 1. The Day the Service Network. Quietly broke on paper, Ford looks healthy. Sales numbers still appear strong. Trucks still dominate American roads. New models continue to launch with flashy features and aggressive marketing. From the outside, everything seems normal. But behind the showroom floor, something has gone catastrophically wrong. In late 2025 and early 2026, reports began circulating online. Viral videos showed dealership lots packed with vehicles that weren't being repaired. Mechanics started posting anonymously, describing months-long backlogs and unfinished jobs piling up. Customers shared stories of vehicles sitting untouched for weeks. Then, Ford CEO Jim Farley confirmed what many suspected. On any given morning, approximately 5,000 to 6,000 service bays across Ford dealerships are empty. Not temporarily, not seasonally, permanently understaffed. Each empty bay represents lost productivity, delayed repairs, and frustrated customers. In a functional dealership, service bays are the financial backbone. They generate revenue, maintain customer trust, and support vehicle longevity. When bays sit empty, the entire system starts to unravel. Wait times for service appointments have ballooned to an average of 2 weeks just to get on the schedule. That number doesn't include the actual repair time. For complex jobs, especially diesel or electric vehicles, wait times can stretch far longer. This is not a supply issue. It's not a parts shortage. It's a labor collapse. And the reasons why reveal a story Ford doesn't want consumers to hear. Chapter 2. The flat-rate pay system that broke the workforce. To understand why mechanics are leaving, you have to understand how they're paid. Most Ford dealership technicians work under something called a flat-rate system. Unlike hourly pay, flat rate means mechanics are paid based on a predefined labor time assigned to each job. That time is determined by Ford, not by reality. If a repair is listed as paying 1 hour, the technician gets paid 1 hour no matter how long it actually takes. If it takes 30 minutes, they win. If it takes 8 hours, they lose. As vehicles became more complex, this system became increasingly detached from real-world labor. Modern Ford trucks and SUVs are rolling computers. A single repair can involve software updates, electrical diagnostics, physical disassembly, and calibration procedures. A problem that looks simple on paper can turn into an all-day ordeal. Yet warranty labor times haven't kept up. Mechanics report situations where a repair on a $75,000 truck pays 36 minutes of labor, despite requiring an entire workday to complete. When something goes wrong, when a bolt snaps or software fails, the technician absorbs the loss. Flat rate turns skilled labor into a gamble. Experienced mechanics know the risks. They know which jobs will destroy their paycheck. And when recalls flood the system, those risks multiply. This pay structure doesn't just reduce income, it creates burnout, resentment, and a constant feeling of being exploited. So when people ask why mechanics are leaving despite high salaries, this is the answer. The salary exists only on paper. Morale: in 2025 alone, Ford issued over 100 recalls. Each recall represents a vehicle that must be inspected, repaired, documented, and verified. Each one enters the dealership system as warranty work. And warranty work is where mechanics earn the least. Recalls are repetitive, they're time-consuming, and they're often rushed. Mechanics describe days filled with recall repairs that pay poorly, require precision, and offer zero margin for error. If something goes wrong, the blame falls on the technician, not the manufacturer or the engineering decision behind the recall. As recalls piled up, dealerships became overwhelmed. Service managers struggled to schedule work. Technicians avoided recall jobs whenever possible. Tension grew between staff and management. Eventually, experienced technicians started leaving. Not for better dealerships, not for higher pay elsewhere, but out of the industry entirely. The recall system, designed to protect customers, became one of the primary forces pushing skilled labor away. And as technicians left, the recall backlog grew worse, creating a feedback loop that accelerated the collapse. Chapter 4. The hidden $50,000 debt nobody talks about. One of the most invisible pressures crushing Ford technicians today has nothing to do with management, recalls, or customers. It's the silent financial burden they carry with them every single day. Their tools. Dealership mechanics are required to purchase and maintain their own equipment. This isn't a starter toolkit you buy once and forget about. Modern Ford vehicles demand specialized diagnostic scanners, brand-specific electronic tools, diesel equipment, calibration hardware, and now high-voltage EV safety gear. Each new platform, each redesign, and each technological update quietly adds another required purchase. Over time, this adds up to an astonishing number. Many technicians accumulate between $30,000 and $50,000 in tools over the course of their careers. Some spend far more. For younger mechanics, the only way to keep up is by financing tools, paying monthly payments and interest just to remain employable. This creates a brutal reality that few outside the industry understand. When a technician burns out or decides to leave the dealership, the tools don't magically turn into assets that solve the problem. The debt stays, the payments stay, and suddenly, the mechanic is carrying a massive financial burden without the income structure that once justified it. When this debt is combined with flat-rate pay, underpaid warranty work, and wildly inconsistent hours, the profession becomes unstable. Skilled technicians begin to realize that other industries offer steady hourly wages, employer-provided equipment, and far less stress. When they leave, Ford doesn't just lose workers. It loses years of experience that cannot be replaced overnight. Chapter 5. EVs didn't save the system. They broke it faster. Ford's electric vehicle push was marketed as the future of mobility, innovation, and sustainability. But inside dealership service departments, EVs quietly became another pressure point, accelerating an already fragile collapse. For technicians, working on electric vehicles is fundamentally different. EV certification requires additional training, strict safety procedures, and constant compliance with high-voltage protocols. One mistake can result in serious injury or worse. The responsibility is enormous, and the margin for error is almost non-existent. Despite this, EV warranty labor often pays less than traditional mechanical repairs. Diagnosing software issues, sensor faults, or intermittent electrical problems can take hours of methodical testing. Yet compensation rarely reflects the time or complexity involved. From a technician's perspective, the math simply doesn't work. As a result, many experienced mechanics refuse EV certification entirely. This isn't resistance to progress or fear of technology. It's a rational response to a system where risk increases while rewards shrink. As Ford expands its EV lineup, the technician shortage deepens. These vehicles require more specialization at the exact moment fewer people are willing to pursue it. Dealerships end up with EVs sitting idle, waiting for certified technicians who are already overworked or simply don't exist in sufficient numbers. The promise of the future became another bottleneck, exposing how unprepared the service infrastructure truly was. Chapter 6. Dealerships are desperate. Customers are trapped. In response to the technician shortage, many Ford dealerships have begun advertising salaries that sound almost unbelievable. Some listings promise earnings of up to $120,000 per year, signaling just how desperate the situation has become. But inside the industry, these offers don't inspire confidence. Experienced mechanics know that these numbers are based on perfect conditions that rarely exist. They depend on unrealistic productivity targets, minimal warranty work, and uninterrupted workflow. None of those align with today's reality. The flat-rate system hasn't changed. Recall-heavy workloads haven't slowed down. Tool costs, certification demands, and stress levels remain the same. As a result, job postings sit unanswered, and service managers grow increasingly frustrated. Customers, meanwhile, are stuck in the middle. Vehicles pile up on dealership lots, not because they can't be sold, but because buyers are increasingly aware of service delays. A truck loses its appeal when owners know it could take weeks or months to fix a problem. For existing owners, the experience is even worse. Long waits, poor communication, and mounting frustration erode trust. Vehicles that were once symbols of reliability now feel like liabilities. The damage isn't just operational, it's reputational. Once trust is lost, it's incredibly difficult to win back. The truth Ford owners need to hear. If you own a Ford, this video isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to inform you. The technician shortage isn't caused by laziness or a lack of interest in skilled trades. It's the result of policies that undervalued labor, ignored burnout, and prioritized short-term savings over long-term sustainability. If nothing changes, the crisis will deepen. So, here's the question. Would you buy a vehicle knowing it might sit for weeks, waiting for a mechanic who no longer exists? If this story matters, share it. If you're a mechanic who lived this reality, comment below. And if you want more investigations like this, subscribe. Because the real story of the modern auto industry isn't about horsepower or screens. It's about the people who keep the machines alive and why they're walking away.